let's talk about graphing this one. F of x equals x cubed minus 4x. All right, well, with what we just talked about, we can talk about end behavior. And on this, we've got a third degree, don't we? And so on the ends of a third degree, one's up, one's down. Here a is positive 1, so which way? Left down, right up. So on my graph, I can sketch that in for reference, future reference, okay? Now the tricky part, if you will, is then what happens in the middle here. But we can use some things we already know. For example, we know about the y-intercepts, right? Y-intercepts, we said x to be 0. That's going to be 0 minus 0, that's 0. We know about the x-intercepts. The x-intercepts, we set y to be 0, or f of x to be 0. And, well, yeah, that sets up a nice little factoring problem. Got a common factor of x. Pull that out. I can actually factor that some more if I wanted to, or use the square root method. Either one. That one does factor. So I get x equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0, so that'd be x equals, add 2, be 2. Subtract 2 on this one, so we get x equals negative 2. So I get 3 x-intercepts. So coming over here, putting those down, I got a y-intercept of 0, an x-intercept of 0, obviously the same point, then negative 2 and positive 2. All right, well, that doesn't exactly give me the shape that maybe I can sketch it in. If you get pretty good at it, you can probably do it from there. But here's what I'm going to do for some more. So get the y-intercept, get the x-intercept, but let's also get points inside between your x-intercepts. That's going to be our third points to get, besides the x and the y-intercept, is get some points between my x-intercepts. In other words, get a table going here, get some points between the x-intercepts. What would be some good values between the x-intercepts? Well, obviously, negative 1, positive 1, right? All right, so let's get those values, a negative 1 and a positive 1, between the x-intercepts, right? So if x is negative 1, then the y, well, the y would be what? Negative 1 cubed minus 4 times negative 1. What does that give me? Well, that gives me negative 1 plus 4. Hey, that's positive 3. Y is positive 3. Then get the x is 1. If x is 1, then it would be 1 cubed minus 4 times 1. What does that give me? Well, that gives me 1 minus 4. It gives me negative 3. Hey, how about that? Negative 1, positive 3. Positive 1, negative 3. So, what did I say? Negative 1, positive 3. Positive 1, negative 3. Aha! Now, and you can get some more if you want, but I can kind of see the graph. I know the end behavior is down here and up here, then in the middle, connecting the dots, because these, the other thing, point out, go back to the handout here, is you can also see these polynomial functions are smooth flowing graphs. There's not any breaks. There's not any corners. They're smooth and continuous. So if I connect this smoothly and continuously, here's what I get. Forget that, but I know it's going down there. So connect these up smoothly and continuously. How about that? That's a pretty good graph of that. Okay? Question or any concern? All right, let me get one more with you, and we'll do some more next time. But all right. All right, f of x equals x to the fourth minus 15x squared. All right, again, the goal, graph this thing, but let's start here with some in behavior. Fourth degree, third degree, that's what we're going to start with, in behavior. Well, this one's a fourth degree, and we know on fourth degree either both ends go up, both ends go down. What is it? Both up. Yeah, we got A here is a positive 1, and so that's a positive, so yeah, both ends up. So on my graph, let me do it over here. When I come to graph it, both ends are going to be up. So let's just mark that for future reference. All right, well, let's get the intercepts. Well, again, y-intercepts usually pretty easy. Just set x to be 0. And again, with the way this one's made, it's y is 0, isn't it? That's 0, that's 0. So y-intercept, y is going to be 0. What about the x-intercepts? Well, on the x-intercepts, I need to set y to be 0, f of x to be 0. F of x is 0. And then I need to factor and solve that out. Well, what do? Here I've got common factor of x squared. Let's pull that out. And then I've got x squared minus 15 left, parentheses. All right, so that doesn't factor anymore, so let's just go right to the chase here. Set both of those equal to 0, x squared equals 0. Well, the only way you can get that is if x is 0, right? Here, what do I do with that one? Square root method. Add the 15 to both sides, then square root both sides. And x would be the square root of 15. However, the catch is it could be plus or minus 15, square root of 15, which is about approximately equal to 3.9. Square root of 15 is about 3.9, isn't it? Because that's my x-intercept. So I've got got a y-intercept of 0, an x-intercept of 0, same point, and then positive and negative 3.9. Okay? All right. So again, that gives me a little bit to go on, but I do need some other information here. And the other information here that I'm going to use are, like I said, for these fourth degree, third degree, let's look at points between the x-intercept. What points might we get here? Well, this one we have a little more of an option, and you can get more than one, but I'm just going to go with one between each x-intercept. Between this x-intercept and that x-intercept, I'm going to say, let's shoot for the middle. So let's go with negative 2 here. With me? And then same thing over here between this x-intercept and that x-intercept. Let's go in the middle. Let's get 2 on this side. See where I'm getting those. Okay? All right, so what do I get if x is negative 2? Well, I get negative 2 to the fourth minus 15 times negative 2 squared. That's a positive 16 minus 15 times 4. That's 16 minus 60, isn't it? That's a negative 46. Way on down there. Does that sound right? Well, what about when x is 2? That would be 2 to the fourth minus 15 times 2 squared. What's going to happen there? That's going to be 16 minus 15 times 4. That's 16 minus 60. Hey, that's the same point, or same value, negative 46. Is that right? Negative 44. Sorry. Just checking. Negative 44. Still way on down there. Change that one to negative 44. I missed the subtraction. Okay? All right, well, all right, so let's see. Let's mark these off by tens. 10, negative 20, negative 30, negative 40. So negative 44 just below that. 2, negative 44 just below that. You see it? All right, well, here we go. In behavior, coming down, so we got to go through that X-intercept, then we come down here, we got to turn around. It may or may not be that point, but it's somewhere close to that. Comes back up. Now, this one's different because, do I go through there? Well, I've got to come back down here, so I'm not going to go through because I've got to come back down here. If I go through, I got to come back. Why would this be wrong? Well, there's not another X-intercept. These are the only X-intercepts, so it's got to stay right. It's got to come and hit that. I'll talk about that more next time, but anyway, that's what it winds up looking like. It's kind of a W looking shape. All right?